We are going to be talking about knitting the ribs together. We've already discussed softening the tailbone down, rolling shoulders back and down, but it's so important to talk about knitting the ribs together because oftentimes when we go to roll the shoulders back and down, we jut out the chest. We bring compression into the mid-back space. The ribs jut out. You can maybe even feel them jutting out of your abdomen. It's really hard to keep the tailbone softened down with that as well. So we're focusing on keeping that primary line of engagement, keeping unnecessary stress out of the mid-back, out of the low back space as well. One of the problems with lifting our arms overhead or even rolling our shoulders back and down, that is something we want to do, but we tend to overarch the back, lifting the heart too much. This also happens a lot when we're doing back bends. So softening the tailbone down, rolling the shoulders back and down, and then knitting the ribs together. So the first time I heard this concept, I thought it was such a strange phrase, but if you visualize yourself knitting the ribs together, bringing them closer to one another, that automatically is going to help you engage the upper abdomen. It's going to start to bring the ribs flush with the abdomen so you don't feel the base of the rib cage sticking out. You want to keep that engagement in all of our postures: standing, sitting, back bends, folds, tabletop, warrior poses, everything. So I'll go through a few different examples with you, especially the ones that we tend to miss those alignment cues and fall out of them. So I'll go mostly through standing postures today, but I also want to show you plank pose, because plank pose, it's very easy to stick the booty out, to lose that rib cage engagement. And because of some of the injuries in my body, chaturanga is not in my practice, but when I'm coming down, I'll come down to my knees first. So I'll show you. So when we do plank pose, we want the hands under the shoulders, softening the tailbone down, rolling shoulders back and down, knitting the ribs together. This is going to help us not cave in through the mid-back space. We don't want our shoulder blades to be poking out like little mountain peaks on the back. When we engage the upper abdomen, we're actually lifting into the mid-back space. Also, when we're coming down, so I'm going to come down to my knees and I'm going to lower down. When we come back up again, tucking the toes, we still want to be knitting the ribs together because we're going to lift through the mid-back space to protect the spine. So I'm going to come all the way up here. A couple other postures where it's easy to lose that engagement. I talked a little bit in the previous video. When you're lifting your arms overhead, you roll your shoulders back and down, you might overextend the spine in the just getting into the visual in your mind. You think you're opening yourself up, but you're actually compressing the back of your body, and we don't want to do that. So as you're lifting the arms up, rolling shoulders back and down, feel the difference when you knit the ribs together. That upper abdomen is working and strong. There's a lot of engagement. Same for when we open our arms out to the sides. We might lift the heart a little bit for a slight back bend. Still keeping the ribs knit in. Another common posture where I see a lot of misalignment and compression in the spine is when we do warrior two. So in warrior two, you have one knee bent, the front knee bent, back leg is straight. We have that outer thigh on the front leg engaged to keep the knee from falling inward. And the torso is facing pretty much diagonal here. It's not facing totally to the side. It's not facing the top of the mat. So oftentimes, as we come into Warrior Two, I like to do it with my palms up. It makes my shoulders feel more open. But this is a place where we start to have the belly starts to lose engagement and the back starts to compress. So if you're finding, like we talked about before, if you're finding it hard to soften the tailbone down, you narrow the stance between the legs. Bring the back leg in a bit. And that'll make it easier to find that whole line of engagement, softening the tailbone, rolling shoulders back and down, knitting the ribs together is all going to come together a little bit easier. Lifting arms overhead. Still able to keep that softening, keep that engagement. Another one that a lot of people find challenging is horse pose. So I think, again, it comes back to having that wide-legged stance. It can be hard to keep the tailbone softened when the legs are spread wide like this. So if that's challenging for you, I tell my students, sit on a smaller horse. Bring your feet closer together. Then you find that engagement again. So let's say you're going to do cactus arms here. You're still rolling shoulders back and down. Knit the ribs together. We want to make sure we're not coming into compression in the mid-back space. So let me show you what it looks like to not have engagement in this posture. Okay, this is me not really trying to do anything right with my alignment, but I actually feel it more in my knees when I do it that way. I soften the tailbone down. I'm going to roll the shoulders back and down and knit the ribs together. Do you see the difference? Feels a lot more like strength coming from this center, the primary line. That's why we call it the primary line, because we want all our strength to be coming from that space. I also teach classes with weights, and we talk about this a lot. When you have these muscle groups engaged, stacked on top of one another, and you start to add movement or you start to add weight or both, it's going to keep you from accidentally using your joints, putting too much strain on the shoulders, on the elbows, on the neck space. We don't want to be using just these muscles up here all the time when we're lifting weights. So putting all the effort and the power into this center space is going to help take the strain out of the extremities and the joints. I hope you found this video helpful. We have one more piece of the primary line of engagement left, so I look forward to seeing you in the next video.